And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media, always providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate, and tax planning. We've got so many expert contributors here. It's all about helping you understand more about your buying decisions, making you just a bit more street smart here, taking that consultative approach with our radio and TV show family out there. That's the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter, and of course on the Facebook as well. You can find us with the Consumer Quarterback Show there on Facebook. Big announcement moving to AM 860. The Answer just in a week or so on the 26th, AM 860, The Answer, FM 93.7 as well. Joining an all-star lineup there. Lots of great national show hosts there on AM 860, The Answer. We're going to be at the 4 o'clock drive time coming up very soon. And until then, we're right here on 1380 The Biz. Got our weekend show Sunday mornings, FM 102.5 The Bone as well. And it's Intelligent Talk Radio. I've got some intelligent folks here in studio with me today. Attorney Richard Alexander. Welcome in, sir.
Oh, always a pleasure to be here, man. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thanks for coming in. Yeah, you had an interesting morning. You mentioned you got a hug from a mom and a client.
I've been practicing 22 years, man. And that's the first time I've had mom and the son hug me outside of the courtroom after the sentence was handed down.
Wow.
Because he was crazy scared and worried, and so was mom. But yeah, I mean, it was a long hug too, man. It wasn't just those pat on the back type thing. It was a blessing, man. It was
life changing.
It's really, honestly, it's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, just helping somebody. You know,
that's right.
Every now and again, you get to enjoy that.
Yeah, I love that. You're also an educator as well, teacher at Everglades University, personal injury law, criminal defense attorney. Richard Alexander here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, as well as my friend Larry Harbolt. He's an author and educator as well, real estate teacher. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you very much.
Hey, my pleasure.
Hey,
yes, sir.
Always glad to be on your show.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for coming in.
Of course.
And yeah, you've got your podcast. You've got a lot of cool things going on out there and a wealth of knowledge around real estate investing. It seems like we always talk about, you know, the opportunity to buy on terms and creative type deals, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That is the best way to buy as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I like it. You can get favorable terms, and you just look at it's one of those things you just kind of come in and you say, hey, what's this scenario? How can I benefit? What are the tax implications for the seller? There's a lot of things to explore when it comes to buying and selling real estate, investing in real estate as well. So Larry Harbolt in studio here. Real excited to be speaking with him. I want to let you know about a hot listing that we've got on Clearwater Beach. As you know, I'm the owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm a top 1% realtor in the United States. My wife, Lindsay, and I own and operate our team with 15 agents, and we're real excited about a lot of the growth here. 861 Mandalay Avenue on Clearwater Beach. This is a gorgeous property, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. There's actually a 3rd bedroom. You can't technically count it. This is in an all-star neighborhood right on the north side of Clearwater Beach. This property is right at $700,000. You're literally 200 steps over to the Sugar Sands and dolphin-filled waters. Beautiful Clearwater Beach. Also a Tampa property here, 5822 Schooner Way. This is another waterfront, gorgeous property in Tampa, close to the Tampa International Airport, literally a 5 to 7 minute drive. Freshwater canal, pool, bay access, right behind kind of the restaurant scene there off of the Causeway, the Clearwater Causeway, 5822 Schooner Way in Tampa. Check out all of our real estate properties at PlatinumMVPteam.com. And I got some real estate stats here for later in the show, Larry. I thought I'd go over some of these stats. You know, if you look at, you know, the inventory levels, it's interesting what we're looking at. We got a low in terms of lowest number that we've seen in Pinellas County, residential listings here, 4,883. And that's the lowest in inventory in the last 6 years. So it's pretty interesting if you look at the real estate market. We keep hearing about a reset and a market shift, but it's a great time for move-up buyers. You know, this is a great time. What if you sell a property property that's in the 200 to 300 range, and you say, hey, I'm ready for that $500,000 home, it's a great time. So we'll analyze that a little bit later in the show. This segment is brought to you by the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, and that is the Lucky Dill. The Lucky Dill restaurant, the official restaurant partner. Excellent food, very friendly staff. It's a New York City bar, Brooklyn bakery. They've got a deli as well. They do catering. The Sandwich That Ate Brooklyn, home of the Sandwich That Ate Brooklyn, 4606 West Boy Scout Boulevard in Tampa. Online at luckydilldeli.com. I love going in there and hanging out. Our show producer James and I, we go have lunch almost every other day when we're doing the show, and it's pretty cool. You sit in there, you have a nice lunch, great staff, friendly wait staff, excellent food, and they've got a lot of the retro games playing. One of the last times we went and had like the 85 Bears on the screen there. They were playing that week, so pretty cool to be able to have a lunch in that great ambiance right here in Tampa. They also have a location in Palm Harbor as well. All right, let's jump right into it. So we've got attorney Richard Alexander. I love having attorneys on the show, real estate educators like Larry. I love having you guys in studio. It's a great time that we can pitch and catch some ideas, things happening in the marketplace, current events. Consumer advocate advice is always what we're after, things that can help our consumers. So you practice personal injury law and criminal defense. Give us some nuggets of advice here.
Well, I mean, as far as the personal injury side, and you and I were talking about this because I brought it up on the show before about coverage. And a lot of people don't understand what it is. And, the one thing about coverage, it's an option. You don't have to have but it stands for underinsured or uninsured motorists. And it's an option that you don't have to have by state law. But what it does in the event that an underinsured or uninsured motorist hits you and they're at fault, you have to look to your carrier after that to make you quote unquote whole. Right. Because let's just say they had PIP, or let's just say they had nothing. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to have to look to your carrier to make you quote unquote whole. The problem with with carriers is, they fight you just as hard as, the negligent driver sometimes. Right. They don't want to pay out. Right. What is traditional, and I've seen this happen countless times, they will make a token offer of $1,000. Yeah. And I mean, to me, it's disingenuous. It's, it's not good faith, but they don't have to make a dollar amount. And the other thing about is that they will look to any other source that has to be exhausted before the will come on board and cut a check for a penny. Wow. So, yeah, it's one of those things. But listen, if you need then thank God you have it. Right. Right. Because there are people out there that are really hurting. Yeah. Obviously. And that's sometimes, we've turned clients away, potential clients, because they come to our office and all they had was PIP. Right. And the other driver only has PIP or has no insurance.
PIP is personal injury protection.
PIP is personal injury protection. Yeah, and that's its own little scam, for lack of a better word. Yeah. But, a lot of times people come to our office and they're hurt, man. And we just tell them, listen, there's nothing we can do for you. You only had PIP and the other person didn't have anything or PIP. Yeah. And, these people are hurting and we have to literally turn them away.
Yeah, it changes lives. And it's just one of those things.
It does change lives.
It's another way, Richard, that where if you understand it and you are in a position where you're proactive, and that's one of the great things I love about doing the show. I've been doing the show for over 6 years now, and I get to interview all these great people, all these fine folks that come in, these attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, solar companies, all type water companies, different folks that are coming in and educating not only our listeners, but I'm learning this. And luckily, about a year ago, I said, hey, I better call my policy, make sure I have the underinsured motorist. And lo and behold, what happened about 6 months ago, I got in an accident myself. So I'm dealing with this whole scenario personally. And it can be life-changing. And it really, you got herniated disc in your back, your neck, and you're hurting. You're in pain, and the last thing you want to deal with is fighting the insurance company that you've been making payments to over the last however long you've had that policy, right? 10, 12 years. How long have I been driving now? 20-something years, right?
There's only one thing I would change from what you just said. You said fighting the insurance company. You're really fighting my insurance
Yeah, your
company.
own. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that when you look at the challenges that you have in life, I mean, some of these things you don't really foresee. And that's why we set this show up, to be that consumer advocate, to help people understand these different buying decisions. So personal injury law, what else have you seen in that space? I think this applies to could be bar owners, restaurant owners, business owners that don't have proper surveillance or security. A fight breaks out, somebody gets their teeth knocked in. I mean, there's all kinds of scenarios that play out in the parking lot too, and that would be on the negligent owner of the business, correct?
Yeah, and it's funny because do you remember when the cash cow was nursing home abuse?
Yes.
You remember that? I mean, that was big in this area. Nursing home abuse. You'd go there and find out that that they had convicted felons working for them.
Wow.
Or they just let people have these monster bed sores. The rounds weren't being made, and that was a cash cow for a while until that was just completely bled dry. Now it just seems like the new thing to go after is the Uber and Lyft drivers.
Oh, okay. Uber and Lyft.
Because it's becoming more prevalent. And now it seems that, Uber and Lyft, I haven't really looked at the technicals on this, but Uber and Lyft now is getting more and more into the marketplace. Obviously, it's becoming a lot more prevalent. And, they have different types of policies with their drivers.
Right.
So you look to Lyft and Uber now as far as, making the driver, or the passenger whole.
Right.
If they get into an accident.
Yeah.
If they're on the clock.
I could see
for
that.
Uber and Lyft. Yeah.
I could see that. Where else? It's like, where do you draw the line? I just saw one of the statistics about the pharmaceutical companies pumping opioids out. 400,000 deaths since, I think it was 2010, with dealing with opioids. And there was that one company that I think they're filing bankruptcy now. Purdue, I believe.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because they were pumping out something like 68,000 pills per capita in some West Virginia county in West Virginia. So number one, people aren't taking those. They're selling them, giving them away, or somehow making it onto the black market. It's crazy.
It's criminal, is what it is.
It really
criminal.
is.
No, there's no question about it. It's just. But you're right. They're on the verge of claiming bankruptcy, and they pretty much went on record to say, "Listen, if you don't take this offer, this settlement offer, we'll claim in bankruptcy, and you get nothing."
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, they're playing hardball to the extent that they really mean it.
Yeah.
They're really looking at bankruptcy and going under.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. When we come back, more from our contributors here in studio. We've got Larry Harbolt in studio, attorney Richard Alexander, and it's all about helping you understand your buying decisions. We also have a feel-good story of the day. A text message that was sent to the wrong number leads to unexpected act of kindness right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'd love to engage with you multiple ways. You can simply text REQB, like real estate quarterback. That's me. Text REQB to 313131. That's a way that you can quickly text REQB to 313131, and we'll be able to connect with you there. ConsumerQB.com as well. And we'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. For more information, go to ConsumerQB.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. This segment is brought to you by the Bilmar Beach Resort, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show on beautiful Gulf Boulevard in Treasure Island. I love going and hanging out with the friends over at the Bilmar Beach Resort. They've got 2 pools on site, Sloppy Joe's Restaurant and Beach Bar, and there's always fun stuff to do over at the Bilmar Beach Resort in beautiful Tampa Bay here, filled with fantastic and generous amenities to make your vacation that much more special. The Bilmar Beach Resort has been one of the most sought after destinations in the Treasure Island area for many years. So whether you're planning a business trip, a wedding, or just a family vacation, check out the Bilmar Beach Resort and make sure you book directly. Do not book online through one of those discounted websites. You just want to book directly. Clyde Smith, the general manager, said give them a call. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we're back here in studio. It's all about helping you win, understand more about your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Attorney Richard Alexander in studio here today, Alexander Law. Larry Harbolt, he's a real estate author and teacher as well here in studio. And I want to let you know about some hot property listings that we've got. I got multiple vacant land, parcels of land available here. We got one on Boy Scout Road in Odessa. This one's in Tarpon Springs Road, right off of Tarpon Springs Road in Odessa. $2.498 million property, huge lake. You got a 10-acre lake and 10 acres of land here. Beautiful parcels that are available for a custom estate-style home at 18117 Boy Scout Road. Also, the neighboring properties on Burrell Road. And I've got the corner of Gun Highway as well, 9200 Gun Highway, which is another awesome Odessa property here. This is the Gun Highway and Racetrack Road. You've probably driven that before if you lived in Tampa Bay. I've got that whole corner intersection listed, 2.398 acres in Odessa, Florida. Properties in Pinellas County as well, all over the place. I've got a lot of vacant land and just took another listing this morning of a property in Pier Road up in Newport Richie as well. So reach out if you're looking for vacant land. Check out my website, platinummvpteam.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. All right, so more from Richard Alexander coming up in the show. I want to talk a little bit about the criminal defense side of his business, trustalexanderlaw.com. Let's talk with Larry Harbolt. Larry's in studio here. Larry, you turned me on to something cool the other day. You said, check out Red Skelton's rendition of the Pledge of Allegiance. That was pretty cool, man. I had never seen that before.
I love that.
Yeah.
Every time I hear it, it really touches me.
It does.
He did a great job.
Yeah, he really did. I want to do that at some of the events coming up. They've got 860. The Answer has the War for America Soul here coming up in an event in November at the St. Pete Palladium, and I'm talking with Mark and Steve trying to get positioned where I can do that. But we'll see what happens. But that's pretty cool. I like that.
It is.
I love that. So tell us about real estate investing. What's your passion about? What have you been doing lately?
Well, we're always looking for properties to buy.
Yep.
To keep as rental property. And the properties are out there. They're not all listed in the MLS.
Right.
And if you're looking elsewhere, you're not looking at the same properties everyone else is looking at. But you've got to find those.
Yep.
My wife and I, we send letters to non-owner occupied free and clear property owners to see if they want to sell. And we found that most of those people are of more advanced years.
Yep.
And so, when they're starting to get up into their 50s and 60s, they're starting to think about retirement.
Yes.
They're starting to think about a pension check coming in,
mm-hmm.
a Social Security check. So I try to convince them that I can also give them another check if I can buy the house that they don't live in.
Yeah.
And that way they can pay less capital gains tax all at once in the year of the sale. And it'll be another check to enhance their income to live out, the rest of their life.
Absolutely, it's a win-win, because if they were to think the traditional route and come in and just sell a property, and all of a sudden they get $500,000, $800,000 at once, Uncle Sam's going to take what 30-something% of that, depending on where they break down. So by doing it this way, giving them a chunk of money, giving them structured payments over time, it's a win-win. It's a win for them. They're going to pay less, and it's about legally and ethically and morally paying the least amount in taxes.
Right.
It's not like we're cheating anybody out of anything. It's just being smart business people.
The reason we go after the non-owner occupied, that means it's paid for and they don't live in it.
Yes.
Because if they live in it, any 2 of the last 5 years, there's an IRS section 121, that says if you've lived in a house any 2 of the last 5 years, a single person can take up to $250,000 of their gain, their profit, tax-free. A couple can take up to $500,000 of their gain tax-free. So if they lived in it, they have no tax consequence. If they don't live in it, they're going to have to pay all of the capital gains taxes. In other words, the difference between what they paid for it and what they sold it for in the year of the sale.
Yes.
And they've got to recapture all of the depreciation they've taken over the last up to 27 and a half years.
Right.
So I can save them a lot of money, because if they do it the way I'm offering, they only pay taxes on the 12 payments I send them in any calendar year.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And it's very smart, Larry. You've been doing this for a long time. You also, how many properties do you own, by the way?
I don't own any. They're all in trusts.
Okay. I like that. See, the attorney's lighting up in here. Richard, when somebody says that, what does that mean exactly?
He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah. So he's shielding himself from creditors, from...
Well, not so much creditors. We do the trust
Lawsuits.
Strictly for privacy and estate planning.
Okay.
Because it avoids probate if something happens.
Right.
But you're kind of hiding in plain sight.
Right.
That's what the privacy is for.
I like that.
And once you understand it, I even teach classes on how the land trust works and how to do them.
Land trust. Yeah, and we've got attorney Joe Pippin, that's a partner on the show, friend of the program here. He does a Saturday morning show on 860 The Answer, and he talks a lot about probate avoidance, estates, wills, and trust. But yeah, so it's a great point. We're talking with Larry Harbolt here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. If you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We also have attorney Richard Alexander in studio here, Alexander Law. And Larry, you got a podcast too. Was it Real Deal?
The Real Deal podcast.
Real
right.
Deal. Holyfield.
And it's...
Not Holyfield, just kidding. But
it's a good podcast because it's pure education.
Yeah.
And it's from a 40-year investor.
Yeah.
And it's practical. It's not get rich quick, because
Right.
there is no get rich quick in
Right.
real estate.
Right.
Only a fool thinks there is.
Yeah. Now, tell me about this. Just an interesting area of the real estate game is you see a lot of these bandit signs. They call it, we buy houses cash. What's that all about? What are those people doing?
Well, I'm the guy that talks to the seller, because I do seller financing.
Okay.
I pay the seller.
Yep.
So I sit at kitchen tables, because 99.9% of any property I look at, there's no real estate agent involved. And I've talked to many of them. And many of the, especially older people, because that's mainly who I deal with, they hate the people that put out the signs that say, we buy houses cash.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking they're going to sell their house, they're going to get a bunch of money, pay off some debt, put some money in the bank, and live comfortable.
Okay.
Well, the investor that puts those signs out, they're the kind of people, we'll give you some cash, we'll give you $500, you deed us the property,
Yeah.
and you go away. And they don't like those people.
Yeah.
When they see those signs after they've called on it, they never call on another one, because they know what it. Most of the people don't know how to even put a deal together, even if they're offering cash.
Yeah, because they're just looking for the quick hit, the death, divorce, bankruptcy, tax sale, all types of way. I didn't pay my taxes, it's due. I got to sell it by Friday. They're looking for
desperation.
Desperation, that's right, desperation. And those are the things that you got to be real careful of if you're on the other end of that line. And Larry Harbolt. So Larry Harbolt in studio, Richard Alexander. More from these two gentlemen when we come back on the other side of this break. Make sure you follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter. The Consumer Quarterback Show page on Facebook as well. And our show is also available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Sony TV, 85 other smart television outlets. You just search up Binge Networks. We're on Binge Networks, and just search the Consumer Quarterback Show. You can find us out there, and we would love to connect with you. There's lots of ways that we can help you. We want to be your super connector. We've got 80 different show categories, 50-plus show partners. Reach out on our hotline at 813-670-7372 and check out consumerqb.com. We'll see you right here on the other side of this break. Text message sent to the wrong number leads to an unexpected act of kindness. Right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties, working with buyers and investors as well, making sure the properties are priced properly for you. A lot of times if you're buying for sale by owners, or even properties that are listed, it's not listed at the proper price. You want to make sure that your agent is being an advocate for you, a fiduciary for you. And that's one thing we take great pride in at our company, Platinum MVP team. PlatinumMVPTeam.com. Check out PlatinumMVPTeam.com. And this segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brothers Easy Moving. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that they are a first-class organization. They've got a 4.6 rating on Google. They're very highly rated as well. A rating from their Better Business Bureau, A rating on Angie's List, 4.5 on Yelp, and they've also won the Super Service Award multiple times. They actually moved my family to our new house on the lake, and we're real excited to be there, but they did a super outstanding job, excellent job. Brothers Easy Moving, highly recommend them, and I've known Gary Thacker for a number of years now. Very good organization there, Brothers Easy Moving. All right, we got a couple of hot property listings here in Tampa Bay. We got this property at 12610 Port Marnock. This is a great home. Back on the market. Took it off the market for a little bit. We're doing some kitchen upgrades on the property, but 12610 Port Marnock. This is a gorgeous property. Check out the photography compliments of Fabre Frameworks. This is in a gated community of the Turnberry at the Eagles, and the home sits on one of the best lots in the Eagles. No front or backyard neighbors, and a golf course view. Bring your golf course to, your golf cart rather, to this beautiful property at Port Marnock Drive in Odessa. Beautiful pool, spa, and again, an updated kitchen and bathrooms at this property. Listed right at $500,000. Gorgeous opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. And we've got some vacant land as well in Pinellas County, 1401 Seminole Boulevard. This is a commercial opportunity, corner lot. And again, I've got 8 to 12 properties available that are similar to this one, 1401 Seminole Boulevard in beautiful Pinellas County. Corner lot, 0.82 acres. Perfect opportunity for a business, office, medical, retail, restaurant, goods and services. And it's a great opportunity just at $400,000, just above $400,000 for this beautiful home or property here, this land available in Tampa Bay. Check out PlatinumMVPTeam.com. All right, let's go back to, we got in studio today Richard Alexander, attorney Richard Alexander, Alexander Law, TrustAlexanderLaw.com. Larry Harbolt as well in studio, real estate teacher and author. So I want to go back to Richard. We talked about personal injury law. First, is there anything left to talk about personal injury wise, or you want to jump right into criminal defense?
No, I think, with personal injury, the one most important thing, and I tell clients all the time, is that you need to have patience in the personal injury world, because in the beginning, it's all about treating.
Yep.
And because if you don't treat, obviously, there's not going to be any insurance company that's going to, I hate to say this, but it's all about, cutting the check.
Yeah.
And if you're not treating, they're just not going to do that.
Yeah.
You could be in an accident, but if you're not hurt,
yep.
Honestly.
Prove injuries, right?
Right, exactly. You're going to have to show that you've been hurt either through x-rays, surgical consult, surgical recommendation, or actually having surgery. But if you're not treating, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
You can have those pie in the sky fantasies, but it's just, insurance companies just not going to, do whatever it is you want.
Pony up money. Yeah, it all goes back to damages.
Absolutely.
A lot of times, I remember I thought about going into law when I first came out of school. I really enjoyed my business law class. One of my last classes when it went to business management, entrepreneurship was my degree that I ultimately received from Florida Gulf Coast University down in South Florida. And I enjoyed that class. It was great. You learn these stories. You hear about, how this Ford dealership or whatever dealership did this and the client did that. And, the old person going to the baseball game, they got struck by a baseball in the stands. Who's at fault? Are they at fault? No, you assume that level of what is it called?
Risk.
And so you walked into the baseball field, you got to keep your head up for a pop fly. You know that.
Correct.
So there's all these different intricacies when it comes to lawsuits and how people can perceive it. But ultimately, what you said, Richard, it all comes down to proving damages. Correct?
Well, it's one of the elements.
Yeah.
You have to prove damages. It's very simple.
Yeah.
It's simple in that you have to prove damages, but what does that mean exactly?
Yeah.
How do you, what really gets involved in the personal injury side of it, I will say this, Brandon, is that nebulous term, pain and suffering, because a lot of people, one of my favorite depositions ever of a client, this was a soft tissue injury. And I took the depo on it. Since we're the plaintiffs, I pretty much just made sure they're not doing anything funny, the defense side. This is the insurance company's attorney.
Yep.
So it's a soft tissue injury. And, unfortunately, that's one of those injuries in which there's not an MRI or an X-ray in the world that's going to say, I'm not hurting.
Right.
So it's just you have to take the client at face value.
Yeah.
That, I hurt. I'm hurting right now sitting in this chair, whatever. So the defense attorney says, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the worst and 1 being no pain at all, where would you rate your injury?
Yeah.
And the client takes a moment to reflect and says, I'd say a 9.
Right.
I'm thinking, a 9?
Uh-huh.
Dude, a 9 is like an amputation or giving birth.
Yeah.
You're not at a 9. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I mean, I can't say anything on a depo, but it's unrealistic expectations when you're talking about pain and suffering. You have to be realistic too at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're talking with attorney Richard Alexander here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. Yeah, because there's all types of damages too. You get punitive damages, compensatory damages. Those are all different aspects of it, and it's interesting because they don't all apply when people sometimes just from the outside looking in, they say, oh, well, they should get punitive damages. There's all these different things that you have to prove to get those, right?
Right. And punitive damages, you have to go to the judge and actually ask for permission to file a punitive damages count.
Wow.
And you have to show that by way of the evidence through discovery.
Yes.
No one's entitled to punitive damages.
Right.
Okay. And the other thing is Florida is a comparative negligence state.
Okay.
Which means the plaintiff could be at fault. The plaintiff's the attacking or offensive party.
Right.
And they could be at fault in any type of negligence case.
Yeah.
So the jury is allowed to assess the percentage of damage because Florida is a comparative negligence state.
Wow.
So let me give you a perfect example. New Jersey, I happen to know because a friend of mine used to practice in New Jersey. You have to meet the 51% threshold.
Yeah.
If you're a plaintiff. If you didn't meet the 51% threshold, in other words, the person you're suing, the defendant, had to be at least 51% negligent. Now in Florida, you don't have to meet any percentage threshold. So if the jury awards, let's just say $100,000 damage, but they find the plaintiff 60% at fault, you're still entitled to $40,000.
Ah, okay.
So I mean, it depends on the state. The state can set the percentage because it's unique to state law.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it's not the end all be all in the state of Florida when it comes to comparative negligence.
Yeah, it gets real touchy in there, real situational, especially.
It can also get very emotional, especially at mediation.
Yeah,
very emotional.
And especially years back they had the hot coffee case, and a lot of people totally misunderstood how that actually played out.
Correct.
And they talked about tort reform, and it actually limited the damages on some of the case. According to this documentary that I saw, I mean, you can watch a documentary, and of course they're slanted, but you got to be real careful. We want you reaching out to Richard Alexander, trustalexanderlaw.com, local here to Tampa Bay. He's an educator. He gives back to the community. Personal injury law, criminal defense law. Let's touch on criminal defense as well. Richard, tell me what we need to know about criminal defense.
Well, the big thing right now is the governor has asked the Florida Supreme Court for its opinion on what to do with this, convicted felons. And Florida is one of the few states in the union that doesn't allow convicted felons to vote.
Right.
But we, as the voters, in the last 20, what was the last one? 2018?
16 was the presidential, yeah.
Right. 2016, we voted as Floridians that, we would like convicted felons, once they served out their time, to have the right to vote again. So the governor, DeSantis, is, trying to deal with, well, what does that mean exactly when you've paid all your outstanding fees and court costs, you successfully completed probation? I mean, what does that mean exactly? Because a lot of people, a lot of convicted felons, they just don't have the finances to pay fees and court costs.
Yeah.
So they're trying to see, the governor right now is literally asking the Florida legislation and the Florida judiciary that, what does this mean? Can we flesh this out? Like, exactly, is this unconstitutional? How do we go about making sure that felons have actually finished out their sentence?
Right.
Does that include the outstanding fees and court costs?
Yeah.
And, for some people, it's part of probation.
Yep.
For some people, it's if you come across that money, we'll have it as a lien. So, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. So that should be coming fairly soon as to how the state of Florida is going to interpret that.
Interesting. We got about 30 seconds left in this segment. Tell me what's your thoughts on cannabis? Is it going to be illegal, or is it going to be legal at some point?
Yes.
Recreational? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
It seems like the hill's already rolling. The momentum's there. It's going to
coming.
be legal.
It's coming. It's like there's going to come to the point where you cannot hold your phone to talk.
Yeah.
We're going to go handheld. I mean, you can't hold it in your hand, just like texting and driving.
Yep.
It's coming. You can't hold your phone.
Yep.
And it's coming personal recreational use.
Personal recreational use. All right.
I see no other way.
There you have it. Attorney Richard Alexander, trustalexanderlaw.com. We also have Larry Harbolt in studio. Stay with us. When we come back, we're going to jump into our lightning round, our feel-good story, and our random act of kindness here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. It's text messages that was sent to the wrong number. Find out about this story. Interesting stuff coming up right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. Ian Beckles that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. My wife and I own and operate the Platinum MVP team. Lindsay also does feng shui services as well for our clients as well. Feng shui, home clearing, energy healing, couples healing, meditation as well. We teach over at the Realtor boards as well. We had a great time this last month. We did a teaching success summit over at the Pinellas Realtor organization. I taught branding and negotiation. Lindsay was teaching meditation techniques. We had a friend of ours teaching, Will was teaching social media, Facebook ads, and also our enrolled agent / CPA partner, Jake Alexander, was talking about how to legally and ethically pay the least amount of taxes. So it's talking about structuring your organizations. But we have those types of seminars available out there for any business owners or organizations that would like for us to put that together. we love to do that. We would love to take you up on that. Check us out at consumerqb.com, and you can submit a form at consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors on the website, previous episodes, videos. You can see our American Dream television show, our nationally syndicated TV show that we're a part of as well. You can see all of our expert contributors at consumerqb.com. And we're back here in studio. We're moving to AM 860, The Answer. I want to remind you about that on the 26th. We're going to be moving over to the 4 o'clock hour, AM 860, The Answer. Real excited to join a national lineup of great show hosts, and it's a great opportunity for us to be asked to join that station. We're going to be at the 4 o'clock drive time on AM 860, The Answer, very soon. So we're excited about that. This segment is brought to you by WholeBodyFuel.com, the official meal delivery service of the Consumer Quarterback Show. WholeBodyFuel.com. Chef prepared. Brian Adamo and his team do a great job, Kevin and the fellas. Convenient, healthy, organic meals delivered directly to your home or office. What else do you have in this world if you don't have your health? Reach out to WholeBodyFuel.com. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. And 1645 Parker Boulevard in Odessa. This is one of my favorite listings that I've got right now. This one is in a gated community with lake access. So if you're a boater, a skier, fisherman, 1645 Parker Boulevard, gorgeous home. Check out the beautiful photography compliments of Fabre Frameworks. 4-bedroom, 3-bath home, open floor plan, large 3-car garage, beautiful property. Of course, too many upgrades to list right here on the show, but check it out at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. PlatinumMVPTeam.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. All right, time for an audible here. We got Peyton Manning helping us with the audible there, but this is our random act of kindness that we always talk about every day. We're going to tell you something positive in our feel-good story of the day. Tell me something good. All right, so we got a text message that was sent to the wrong number. It leads to a random act of kindness, an unexpected act of kindness here. Abby Fink thought she was texting a family friend, but she mistyped the number. Her brother, it says, "Hey, brother Jakeman, this is Sister Fink. We're bringing you dinner tomorrow. I was wondering what time would be a good time to bring it over." Fink sent in the message. On the other end of the text message was a man named Bill. "Oh, what are you bringing me?" ? He replied, knowing that the message was not intended for him. Fink explained that the text was meant for the family friend whose 4-year-old son, Noah, was fighting to stay alive. Bill immediately asked how he could help, and he has since rallied friends on Facebook to send gift cards to Noah. He even contacted a local charity who now wants to lend a hand too. Noah is finally out of the ICU, but remains in the Phoenix Children's Hospital as a lengthy recovery begins. As for Bill, he plans to drop off a gift and meet the young boy in person next week. Quote, "I told Bill, I don't know if you believe in God or not, but I believe you were sent here to help this family. I told him he was an angel," said Fink. So there's a cool feel-good story of the day for you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. It's all about, helping you as your consumer advocate. We bring on all types of great expert contributors on the program. We love for you to engage with us, our radio family, our TV show family out there. It's all about you engaging with us and reaching out, and that's how we want to support this community. We bring on CPAs, financial advisors, attorneys, solar companies, all types of different wonderful professionals, home healthcare services, all types of folks here on the show. And we'd love to hear from you on our hotline, 813-670-7372. Just ask us for an introduction to one of our expert contributors, no matter what you're facing. Credit improvement, lots of ways that we can help you here. Of course, mortgage advice, real heavy on the mortgage and real estate advice here, 813-670-7372. And you can also simply text REQB to 313131. So put in the 2 line 313131 and just text the word REQB. All right, let's jump right into our lightning round here.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning.
All right, let's do some top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom. Attorney Richard Alexander.
Well, I talk about this constantly as preventive law.
Yes.
Preventive medicine. You go to see the doctor so you don't have to go see the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way about law. I tell my clients all the time, listen, if you just called me ahead of time, I could have prevented you a ton of headache and a ton of money.
Yeah.
I'm about as public record as it gets.
Yeah.
So, call me. I'll be more than happy to talk to you about any particular situation. And if I don't know, trust me, I'll tell you I don't know. I don't have that kind of pride, but I'll find somebody who does.
Yeah, that's the thing about this whole show is it's like, hey, call us. We'd love to educate you, help you if we can. And if not, there's a good chance, a 99.9% chance we know somebody who can.
Correct.
Because there's so many different areas of law. You know, you got construction law, family law, all different areas. So we have those referrals for you. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, great stuff. TrustAlexanderLaw.com is the website. Larry Harbolt, give us some nuggets of advice, sir.
Well, one of the things that I really understand, real estate investors, they don't pay retail for properties.
Right.
They've got to find something where they can add value to it, or they have no reason to buy. And not all of the properties out there are listed in the multiple listing service. So if you can find properties that need love that aren't listed, there's an opportunity there. You can knock on the door, you can send a letter, you can do many different things. But don't think the only properties that are available are listed in the multiple listing service.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point. Is there's lots of ways that you can get involved. We can, help you with that as well if you're looking to get into real estate. We talk a lot about, being able to utilize, for example, our veterans. We offer a quarter to half a point back to our veterans. 100% financing is available. I know all of our lenders will kick in, our lending partners kick in. So if there's a veteran out there, if there's a renter out there, we got to get you into home ownership. I'm really beating that drum on home ownership right now. It's a way that you can build wealth and again, take advantage of taxes. It's a retirement vehicle. You're paying that mortgage down. You're building up equity. And I like to talk about the market here because we do a lot of business in Pinellas County. But as I was talking about earlier, based on the numbers, we're at the lowest amount of inventory that we've seen. See this number, 4883, lowest number of active inventory in the last 6 years. It's down 23.2% in Pinellas County. Now, if you come down here to solds, check this out. You've got the lowest number year over year sales are down. 2,011 sales compared to 2,151. So what does that mean, Larry? You divide these numbers here, equals a seller's market. There's a 41.2% appreciation rate. So long and short, we keep hearing about a market shift, but Tampa Bay is somewhat insulated here, in my opinion, because it's such a great place to live, work, and play.
Right. Well, and the type of properties that I'm looking for, most of the people, they don't know what those stats are.
Right.
They are trying to sell a property. They have a reason why they're selling. I've got to find out what that reason is, because anybody that is going to make an investment needs to know the answers to the important questions.
Right.
And one of them is, what do you need the money for?
Right.
If I can't ask a seller what they need the money for, how do I know how I can help them? Because one thing I'm not going to do is give them all cash. For the simple reason, no matter how much cash you have, if you do a lot of business, it's never going to be enough. You're going to run out. So conservation of cash is always a philosophy that I use, and that's what I teach all my students.
It's a great point. It's a great point because that's what it's all about. It's not just about the magic number. What's the sales price? What's the ask price? It's about the terms. It's about how that equates to your personal financial blueprint, right? Your taxes versus what you're making. Okay, so now we're taking that a step further. We got to do this quickly, but if you look at the 180 to 199 price point, you had 141 listings on that line over here. 141 listings over in August, right? So if you drop that down, if you come down to 180 to 199 right there, out of those 141 listings, you see that above, there's 95 that actually sold. So interesting. Now let's come down to the 700 price point, right? So 700 to 800, 77 properties sold or listed. Now out of those 77 properties, only 14 sold here. See that? 14 properties sold. So the difference in price point means the number of buyers and sellers that are playing ball in that space. And that's going to lead you to, on that particular example, 1.5 months of inventory, and the properties are selling pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting layout when you look at the overall dynamic. And that's the difference between an educated real estate agent that knows how to tell you to price your property, knows how to price the property to where it's going to sell and not just be listed. Because if you're just listed, you're selling the other people's listings. That's the bottom line. So great show today. I want to thank attorney Richard Alexander. I want to thank Larry Harbolt as well.
My pleasure.
For coming in,
Thank you,
and all
always.
of our producers behind the scenes putting this show together. We got a great team here at Salem Communications putting the show together. Appreciate everybody involved. We want you to please go out there and consider committing your own random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. There's lots of ways you can get involved. Pack up some food, hand it to that person that you see in need, donate some blood, be involved in the community. Lots of ways that you can do that and be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter, the Consumer Quarterback Show page out there on Facebook, and engage with us. We want to help you win in any marketplace. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 1025 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.